What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? Damn, I'm fat. I look like the penguin from the Batman movie. I am Batman. So, yes, I told you I can do live. I'm not in my studio because I am too tired. I just came from Gibsonville, and I was having some dinner and stuff. It wasn't really dinner because I went down there to get something. But anyway, so today's Sunday. Let me put the computer a little bit back up. And today is Q&A with King Geo. Q&A with King Geo. I don't want you to see my breast. Okay, Q&A with King Geo. Well, the one thing that was very interesting this week was what is Majorie Green? Her name is Majorie Green, right? Because I don't of her name because I don't watch her because she's stupid. You know, she really is. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's her. All right. So you know that hey, how you doing? Smash that like button. Guys, don't forget that I am doing a printer giveaway for August. A printer giveaway for August for all you people who like simulations and all that. So yeah. So if you have any questions, go ask, and I will try to answer them from whatever it is. But if it's from your country and I know nothing of your country, I cannot answer it. But anyway, thank you, my guy. So Marjorie Taylor Greene was up in the Senate for the January 6th insurrection, right? So they were asking her a question, and she so stupidly, you could tell that she's fuddling, she's trembling, not trembling, she's sidestepping on herself. She like tumbling herself. She's like everything that she has said, whether it's in the news, everything that she has said, where she has tweet, she has cane, and she's eating. Every word she has eaten, every word that came out of her mouth, she had to take those words back. And she was tripping on her own feet. She did not know what to say. If here you are saying that Nancy Pelosi is a traitor to the government, and when they asked her, she gave a whole totally different answer. And every question they answered, every question they asked her, she could not ask. And it's kind of funny because here you are national television. You want to act because you have to be very careful what you say when you're in these court proceedings or in these proceedings, because it can backfire you. But she's on TV, so on TV she can say as she pleases because she's exercising her First Amendment rights. Look at my hair. Ooh. So she's exercising her First Amendment right. But when it comes to TV, when it comes to the courthouse, and when it comes to give yourself to testify, your whole story changes. So now you cannot say what you said before, because now if you say that she was a traitor, and you say that this was an insurrection, and you say that this happened, and then you're contradicting yourself. Should Marjorie Taylor Greene be on a ballot in Georgia? No. And she is not the only one. Gates, he should not be there either. The guy from Missouri, whatever his name is, he should not be there. I want to get their names right, so I want to be able to say it right. I don't want to. Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley should not be in the Senate. Josh Hawley has no business whatsoever to be in that Senate. Anyone who is there, any senator, whether it's Democrat or Republican, that is against the January 6th shouldn't be there. You have to understand one thing, that lately politics have become more of a business. This is no more about me. You give me your vote, and I'm going to do my darnest for what's best for you, or for what's best for the community, or what's best for my state. This has now become what's best for my party. And that's what's happening. What is best for my party? America. You see Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has some great ideas, but what happened is that you people put the word socialism, and they think that's a bad thing, when socialism is not a bad thing. If you look into socialism and you look what socialism does, socialism is a good thing. But people don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that Medicaid for all is beneficial, because why? Because it's going to cost you, because it's going to cost the people more money. So you mean to tell me, here you are, you're not willing to pay a little bit more taxes and have universal health care than pay no taxes and have no health care? Does that make sense? Does it? I mean, you look at these countries that do have a universal health tax. Yes, taxes in those countries are expensive. Countries in those taxes are high. That comes out of your pocket, but they do. But what it comes with perks. It comes with universal health care. It comes with a better health system. It comes with a better sanitation. Comes better pay. I mean, think about it. Here you are. You're paying 30. You're getting paid $30,000 or $40,000. You get paid $40 an hour. All right. That's just an example. You get paid $40 an hour, and you get 20% or 30% of that taken off for taxes. But out of that, you got good police. You got good security. You got good health benefits. I mean, just think about it. Universal health care means that you can go anywhere in the world and you are covered. You are covered. You are aware that I just found out the other day, those insurance that you get from the airlines, do not cover you at all unless you are hospitalized. Then those insurance cover you. Your credit card may have something, but I just found that out the other day, and I was like, really? That's amazing. So here you are, you buy $200 or $300 worth of health traveler insurance. You don't read the little fine prints. It comes to find out that you are only covered if you are hospitalized. So if you go, you got to get some stitches, you got to go, something happens to you, you're not covered because that insurance is not covered. And here you are paying $20. That's like when you go into when you rent the car. It says, do you want some of our insurance? Why would I want your insurance when I already got insurance and you guys have insurance? Your car is already insured. Your car is already insured. So why do I need to put insurance? Some credit cards cover your insurance. Your insurance sometimes covers you. You just gotta find out. But why would I add something? The same way, like now, why would you get travel insurance when it doesn't cover you unless you are hospitalized, which is a shame. It really is. Now, since there's no one here doing Q&A and blah, 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 no one wants to answer me, I want to answer myself. All right. We have this big debate on, like, Florida, the gay bill that he doesn't want children from pre-K to third grade to be taught about genders. I don't think a child at that age, it's really, really, really understanding or is asking about gender, about what is gay, what is lesbianism, what is transgender, I don't think that any of the kids of that age is asking those questions. And if they're asking those type of questions, then you tell me, what kind of TV show or what are your kids looking and listening to? Because that's a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old. You're supposed to be watching either the cartoons, you're supposed to be watching this, you're supposed to be watching that. Okay. But it's not. I don't think it's something that the state should regulate. Like, we don't, because it doesn't go to that. Should school teach that? No. The same way school shouldn't teach about religion. School is it the school responsibility to teach at that age that what is homosexuality? Homosexuality? I mean, what's homosexual? No, it shouldn't, because that's not an appropriate age. Kids' mind work differently. At certain age, they grasp certain things. Now, if my son or daughter at the age of 5, 6 years old came to me and said, "Hey, Daddy, why does she dresses differently? Why is he a man and he dresses like a girl?" And I say, "Oh, that's the way he feels. Maybe he likes dressing like that. I don't know." But I'm not gonna say that's bad. You should never do that. You're a girl. You should be playing with girl stuff. I better not catch you playing with toys, with boy toys, with no GI Joe or playing no boy games. None of that. You a girl. You play with girl stuff. No, you will never see me say that, and vice versa. If my boy comes up to me and says that, why is that girl dressing up as a boy? Hey, that's the way that's the way she feels. Don't let me catch you playing with girl stuff. Cause no, it's not like that. So that's all individual. And the way DeSantis is doing it, he's DeSantis is making controversy because he wants to make controversy because he wants to run for president for 2024. That's what he wants to do. Now he's taking away from people from Disney. Now he's taking away the Disney's tax exemption because Disney had a good deal with Florida. And at that time, to this day, Mickey Mouse and all those kind of things were trademarks. They were protected. So that means you couldn't do anything with Mickey Mouse or anything and sell it because you just couldn't. So now with DeSantis taking away Disney's privilege, with one of those privileges might come that now you'll be able. Now you'll probably be able to sell Disney stuff without being sued by Disney. It'll become a public thing, which in a sense is a good thing because Disney is super rich. Super rich. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But to try to go ahead and try to cut Disney's leg off because they don't approve of your gay bill or they don't approve of what you did, that's not doing nothing because people are still going to go to Disney, you dumbass. People might not choose to go live in Florida, but people can still go to Disney. And Disney's so rich that even if you take away Disney's perks here, you still got you still got Disney World in Los Angeles. You got Tokyo Disney. You got Euro Disney. So all those parks are making money, and whatever they lose from here, from whatever DeSantis thinks he's losing from here, they're gaining from there. So it's not no big thing. The only thing that would hurt him probably would be the licensing, that it can't become public, which like I said, which would be a good thing for people who are doing business and they are doing merchandise with that portrays Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool because everyone should benefit. If you got it, you got it. But yeah, that's what it is. Now, other thing. Should abortions be funded? Should the government fund abortion? Should the government pay for abortion? My answer to that is yes. No, I'm just joking. No, it should not. It should not. No government should support, and not support, that's another word, should fund or should pay for an abortion, unless that abortion is incest, unless that abortion is rape. Okay. And then if you can't afford it, then you can go to your near Planned Parenthood and have them do the abortion, because it is ridiculous. I say this, you know, that you have women out there who are having sex galore, who are getting pregnant from left to right, not using protection. They get pregnant and then they go to these Planned Parenthoods and then they get an abortion on taxpayers' money. You shouldn't. If you're old enough to go and have sex, if you're old enough to do this and you're old enough to do that, and then that's your responsibility. That's your responsibility. It's the responsibility of the young man who got you pregnant. It's not the state's responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility. Not even your parents' responsibility, because you're already old of age. You're already over the age of 18 or 21. But you're responsible. Those are your decisions. So for the government to fund your sexual prelude extravaganza, it's wrong. Now, if you catch a 14-year-old or a 10-year-old, yes, that needs to be done. If a 14-year-old gets pregnant and it's done by a guy who's also 14 years old, that's something the parents should discuss. That should be something it should be a decision of the parent, because that child does not have the capabilities of doing the right thing. Shit, you could see they didn't do the right thing, got pregnant, right? So that's not being responsible. And I know a lot of 14-year-old women today, who were 14 then, I meant, and raised their kids on their own. But we're not dealing today with this generation is much more different than it was 20 or 30 years ago. It's a whole different generation out there. It really is. So Planned Parenthood is doing a good thing. As a matter of fact, this is why I don't understand why Republicans keep slamming on Planned Parenthood, because they don't do their research. And if they do their research, I know they do their research, but they don't want to tell you. You see, this is why I tell you, everybody, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, do your research. These people, both Republicans or Democrats, they're not out for you. They're out for the party. Why do you think that the Democrats cry that the Democrats cry that Donald Trump does not pay his federal taxes, that Elon Musk don't pay for federal taxes, that this don't pay for federal taxes, that this company don't pay for federal taxes. So if Elon Musk doesn't pay for federal taxes, if this company doesn't pay for taxes, if that company don't pay for taxes, so then why don't you close that loophole so they all could pay? You see, this is a lightning bolt. You know why they don't do it? Because they themselves, either Republican or Democrats, have involvements in those companies, have shares in those companies. So that means that if they get taxed, that means their share goes down. They don't want that. They can easily close that loophole. Easily, but yet they cry and cry and cry. Come on. Puerto Rico has had the Jones Act for years, and they don't take away the Jones Act because people in Florida might lose their jobs, because for the government of Puerto Rico to have goods of service be brought into Puerto Rico, if they buy it from, let's say, Panama, and from Panama to Puerto Rico is just skip, a short trip. That trip has to go. Now that boat has to go from Panama. Instead of going from Panama to Puerto Rico, it has to go from Panama to Florida, and then in Florida it has to get loaded on a USA boat, and then from there it gets shipped to Puerto Rico. So think about this. Panama is right here, right? This is the ocean. Blah blah blah. Let's say. Where's my phone? Because I want to show you the graphics, because I want you to know how stupid and dumb this is. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you. This is the map of Canada. All right. So Panama, okay. So Panama is right there, as you can see. Right. So Panama has to go. Panama has to go from there all the way to Florida, right? And then from Florida, has to go to right in the middle to Puerto Rico. Whereas they can go from here, where it says Panama, and just cross. Doesn't even have to touch the United States and just cross. That's all they gotta do. But yet the United States don't want that. And it's not just Puerto Rico, Hawaii, Guam, and those little small islands, St. Croix, St. John's. So they have to go. So Puerto Rico has to pay more money for that product to come from Florida, from Panama, to come to Puerto Rico, and then the people, the island, the people in the island has to pay more. Instead of saying, you know what, we're going to take away the Jones Act, right? Because if you take away the Jones Act, and now Hawaii can do business with other people, it'll be cheaper because Hawaii is close to Japan. Hawaii can do a lot of work with Japan, and they get services even much cheaper because it comes straight to them. Okay, it doesn't have to do all this route, but the United States won't do that because they think they're going to lose. So that's why they don't get rid of these people. They don't get rid of the loophole because they know that if they close that loophole of these big companies not paying federal taxes, they themselves will lose money. But what you don't think that no Democrat or Republican have money invested in Tesla, all right? Or all these big companies that check all the companies. You can Google it and check all the companies that did not pay federal taxes last year. And I would guarantee you there are senators in both parties that have shares in that company. So if you tax them, you're taxing the senators. They're not going to get rid of that. They never will. But and you know what? And they never will. They won't get rid of it just because of that. That's the main reason. That's 99.9% of the reason. But that 1% that they won't do it also is because it gives them something to talk about in the next election. And people don't think like me. Right? I personally know that the president in Congress can do that. The president in Congress can remove that law, but they choose not to because it won't benefit them. Why do you think that why is it possible that in this country that we live in today, the greatest country of the world, medication is so expensive here, but you go to Mexico, you go to Canada, you go to other countries, and it's not that expensive. Okay, I've seen people go from San Diego, California, just to go over the border into Mexico to get their teeth removed, to get their mouth dentures done, because it's much cheaper there than it is in the United States. And people think about that. People may say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to go to Mexico, a third world country." Mexico is not a third world country. All right. You got liposuction. You know when they do the removal of your stomach so you can lose weight. Here is $30,000 to $40,000. You go to Mexico, you go to another country, Mexico for $5,000. And I've seen this. People have made comments for $5,000. You got your airfare, you got the hotel that you're going to stay in, you got great medication. I mean, great doctors that will do the same operation that they do here. They do it there for $5,000. Simple. So why is it so expensive here? Because pharmaceutical companies have a hold on medication. Here, it's not regulated. So here they can sell whatever the F they want to at whatever price they want to, and they can't say nothing. Whereas you go to Mexico, you go to Canada, you go to the Netherlands, and its price, it's set. You cannot sell me this at X amount of dollars because that's way too much. Or if you sell me this at this amount of dollar, I'm just going to get it generically. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I'm going to go get it generically. And then what happens? These pharmaceutical companies, these senators have a hold, have money, some money invested in Pfizer, in Johnson & Johnson. You know these big companies. Why? Money. Nancy Pelosi's husband is super rich and he make money. But do you see when he pulls out, when he buys, Marjorie Taylor, she must have somebody on the inside of it. When something's about to crash, that lady either pulls out or something's about to go big, that lady puts in. And she knows the exact amount what to put in and not to put in so she don't get caught. All right? Back in 2008, did not Barack Obama say that he was going to get rid of lobbyists? And so many times, this is why I didn't vote for Barack Obama. I didn't vote for Barack Obama for the simple reason was because for me, he didn't have the experience. All right. I was grateful that he became the half black because he's not fully black, the first black president of the United States. That to me is a feat in itself. Something to be proud of. Not just Black Americans, not just Hispanics, but everybody. Because it lets you know that you can, if you want to, you can do it. That's when I look at Sotomayor, when she, Justice of the Supreme Court. She's Puerto Rican. She's from the Bronx. She grew up in the projects. And look where she's at now. The one thing that I do not like is our school system only teaches white history. I'm going off the topic, right? White history. And it's true. If you look at the history of the United States of America, you have a lot of Afro-Americans who have done stuff before whites. The car wasn't invented by Ford. It was done by a black person. All right? The first bachelor's degree was not by a white person. It was by a black person. But they won't tell you this in school. They want to teach you white America, and that's wrong because if you teach kids, if you teach people, how could you or how dare you in a black neighborhood, in a minority neighborhood, how dare you teach young kids about just white America? How dare you teach that Christopher Columbus discovered America, which when he didn't discover America? How dare you say that how dare you give him a day to remember him when this man, all he did was rape and kill people, brought syphilis, brought all kinds of diseases. And he never even reached the United States. He just reached Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and that's it. But why don't you, how dare you teach that in a minority? Why don't you teach about black history all year round? So that these, because as a minority myself, I would have loved to have learned what my Puerto Rican ancestors did, not just for the United States, but what they did in general. Just because I don't live in Puerto Rico doesn't mean I can't learn about Puerto Rican history, but what they did in general. All right? What black leaders did, what Hispanic leaders did, and it doesn't have to be Puerto Rican, just Hispanic. And you know what that does to what that does to that young man and what it does to that young woman? It teaches them to be it teaches inspiration. It gives them inspiration, not teaches, it gives them inspiration. And it tells them if he can do it, I can do it. How do you think I stopped drinking alcohol after 25 years of drinking? I sat down. I didn't sit down with my father. I called my father because my father was an alcoholic. Okay. And I've been drinking since I was 17 years old. And I stopped drinking in 2013. And right before I stopped drinking, the one thing that I learned from my father was I asked him, you've been drinking for how long? How long you stopped? He said, I was drinking for blah, blah, blah. And I've been sober for 20 some odd years. And he said, why? I said, because I'm thinking of quitting. I'm thinking of quitting. And he said, the only advice that I can give you is take it day by day. Don't forget about tomorrow. Don't think about tomorrow. Tomorrow has its own problems. Forget about yesterday, because yesterday already passed. But think of today. Those are the only one sound things that my father's ever told me. And he always said, if you're going to do something, always hang alone, because if you do it alone, you pay for it alone. You don't have to worry about nobody snitching on you and blah, 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 blah. You did it. That's it. And that's how I stopped. But I said to myself, even though my father was not a father per se, but his word inspired me. And I said, if he could do it, because trust me, I've been with my father when I was a kid. We didn't live together, but I visited my father. And my father drank since the day he woke up to the minute he went to sleep. And that's the same thing that I used to do. So I said, if he could do it, so can I. And I stuck to that. And for the first year of my sobriety, the one thing that I said to myself, because that light is bothering me, I said to myself, today, I woke up, gave my thanks to God, and I said, today, I'm not going to drink. No matter what happens, I'm not going to drink. And that's how I did it. When my brother passed away in November, and that's just a few months ago, I'm not going to lie. I said, I'm going to get a drink. I should get a drink. But as fast and as quick as that thought went through here, and it scrambled in my brain, and it did what it wanted to do, but it didn't accomplish what it came to do. Came out the other, because out of here, boom, another thought came from here. Remember, the thought came in from here, went out from here, but as soon as this one came out, another one came in through this here and said, why would I take a drink when I know that if I take one drink, it's going to lead to two, it's going to lead to three, it's going to lead to four, and it's going to take me back to where I was back in 2013. Why would I waste 7 years? Was it 7? No, it was 13, 14, 9 years, or was it 8 years of sobriety for something that's not my fault? These things happen. People die every day. You know, my brother's death was something that hit me hard. You know, hit me like a ton of bricks. You know, even when they told me I was HIV positive, that didn't bother me at all, man. I didn't give a fuck about that. I told the doctor, yo, he said, what we're gonna do? He said, what you gonna do? I said, we do what we gotta do, man. I'm not gonna let this bother me. The thing that I did say to myself is that I'm not gonna let this beat me. I'm going to see my oldest daughter, Priscilla. And I did. You know, but the death of my brother hit me. You could tell I still that hit me hard. But if I wasn't as strong as I am here, I would have relapsed. And for me, relapse is no good. I don't believe in the word relapse. When the doctor told me it's okay to relapse, I said, no, it's not okay to relapse. Because the minute you tell me it's okay to relapse, that's giving me here an excuse. And I don't want an excuse. I had my time to drink. I did what I did. I had my time, and that's it. It's over and it's done with. So why can't I get that inspiration from school? I would like to learn what an African American did. I would like to know what a Hispanic American did. It's not just all white. You guys give a lot of people like to give Thomas Edison a lot of credit, but a lot of his inventions, a lot of his thoughts, he stole most of his thoughts. Right? You want to give this invention to Edison? You can if you want to, but whatever happened to Tesla? Not the car. because Musk just bought the name. But there's there's Tesla, the Russian scientist. While Edison wanted to do something with electricity one way, Tesla did it the other way. This is why everybody got electricity. As of Edison's way, only certain parts got electricity. But we don't give Tesla that credit. We give that credit to Edison. Poor Tesla died alone because he was crazy. All right, we only got one Spanish painter, Picasso. So you're gonna need to tell me that Picasso is the only famous painter that painted in the whole entire world? But they got Leonardo da Vinci, they got Michelangelo, they got this, they got that. Oh wait. So what did you do? Me. Hi, Gatairi. That's my baby boo. That's my baby mama. Damn, Gatairi. So what does that do to me? I grew up in a mixed neighborhood, blacks and whites, and Hispanics, but more Hispanics and blacks. Luckily, I had that mentality that I didn't think that way. But if I was to think that way, I would have been like, how am I going to compete with these whites? How am I going to compete with white people? I can't. Because everything is taken up by white people. They invented this. They invented that. They became great doctors. They became great this. They became great that. What do I have to hold on to? I have nothing to hold on to because they're all white. They're all white. White people don't know anything about Hispanic cultures. White people don't know anything about black culture. So how are we supposed to, this is the way some people think. How are we supposed to, how am I supposed to compete with that? I can't. I got nothing to hold on to. But if you go and you teach in minority schools and you teach minorities how Black African Americans or blacks in general contributed to science, contributed to math, contributed to business, contributed to agriculture, contributed to science. If you can teach that in a minority school, then you don't even have to worry about dropout. I mean, the dropout rate being up so high, because these men and women who you are talking to about will give these young kids aspiration. Would say if they can do it, I can do it too. Emulating somebody is a good thing if you're doing it for a good reason. All right. So who do we have to we have to look up to? From books, what? Don Quixote? Che? Huh? Is that it? A lot of people, I'll give you, put it this way. A lot of Republicans talk about Fidel Castro. A lot of Republicans say, oh, Fidel Castro was a communist. Fidel Castro was this to Cuba. But what people don't know is that Bautista, the president before Fidel Castro, he was just the same as Fidel Castro. But there's only two differences. Is that Fidel Castro, when he took over Cuba, he did it because he wanted to fight for the people of Cuba. Because under the regime of Bautista, only the rich survived. Only the rich had jobs. If you came from the United States of America and you got money, you can splurge in Cuba. You could do whatever in Cuba. It was a dictatorship. It was a corrupt system for the wealthy. All right. And when Fidel Castro took over, Bautista said, I'm out. He left. But Castro, in his own voice, in his own words, because I've heard it, he said that he will work with the United States, but he will not bow to the United States. That's where it became interesting. That's when Kennedy said, oh, hell no. You do as we say. And it wasn't, and Castro was not taking it. Castro was giving jobs to people who didn't have jobs. Castro was educating everybody. Right now in Cuba, as poor as it is, 99.9, everybody in Cuba knows how to read and write. College is free. Everybody in Cuba, from what I heard, I'm not sure if it's heard, owns a home. May not be the best home there is in the world, but they own a home. Okay. Cuba right now is suffering because of the embargo. The United States has an embargo on Cuba, but doesn't have an embargo on these countries like Iraq and Iran and all that kind of shit that treats their women badly, that kills their women. India, it's like they killed if the woman goes out of the marriage and does something with another man, she gets killed. If she doesn't get married with the person that their parents arranged to, they get killed. If and these are things that I've read, not that I know because I haven't seen, that I've read. If they don't go with the guy that the mother or father arranged them, they get killed. And you're gonna tell me you can help these people, but you cannot lift off an embargo for Cuba? And then Cuba had Russia. Russia was helping it out. But when Russia found out that Fidel Castro was taking his money, they said, F you. You're not paying right, bro. And that's the embargo. That's the embargo that it has. Sorry. So that's why people don't, that's why people, that's why they don't take away the embargo, because the Castro regime is still there. No matter who the president is, the Castro regime is there. And the Castro's name have left a bad taste in people's mouth. And Barack Obama in his last year took off that embargo. And Donald Trump came, he put it back in. So that's why you see so many cars from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, because they can't afford to bring in parts. They can't. There is no business because of the embargo. And here we are. This is a country that believes in freedom for all. Freedom for all. So if you believe freedom for all, why don't you take away the embargo of Cuba? Let the Cuban people live. Why don't you go to Venezuela and threaten President Maduro? Let your people live. Because ever since Chavez died, even Chavez was bad. Even when Chavez died and Maduro came into presidency, to the president of the United, to become president of Venezuela, that's that Chavez. Now, I'm gonna say something. Now, Venezuela is a socialist country, but it's run by a dictator, so that socialism can never work. Can never work. I'll give you a socialist state. Alaska. All right. Alaska gives its residents an X amount of money every year because of the petroleum they produce. And that's per person. So every year it changes. It could be $100. It won't be, but it could be $1,000. Let me see. Let me see. Because I want to make sure that I got it right. Let me see something. Look. It's called a PFD. So let me see. Checks in both 2018 and 2019 were around $1,600. Okay, this year's permanent fund dividend, it's a fund dividend, will be $1,114 by the Department of Revenue, announced on Thursday. Alaska, who filed electronically and chose direct deposit, will receive. All right, so that was 2020. They received $1,114. That because of the revenue that they get from their oil. Alaska has oil. Does Alaska gives its resident any revenue? No. Do the other states when they make money or when they are in a what you call it when they have a surplus? Do you see the states giving its residents money? No. Should they? Yes. But do they? No. And this is why you vote. When they say that your vote counts, your vote really don't count because they're not really doing anything for you anyways. Come think about it. So going back to the teaching, so that's where we should. That's where we should put our focus on. You teach. If DeSantis don't want, if Mr. DeSantis doesn't want gender teaching in schools, if DeSantis doesn't want critical theory thinking in school, which he's a moron because he should know that critical thinking is not taught in elementary, critical thinking is not taught in high school, and critical thinking is only taught in college. It's a college level course. He knows that. Republicans know that. Democrats know that. But yet, they will not tell you that. You learned about critical race theory just a few years ago, 2 years ago. But no one never heard of that until 2 years ago. Now it's a big topic. They don't teach that in elementary school. They don't teach that in junior high school, and they don't teach you that in high school. They do teach it to you in some colleges, critical race theory, because it's such a complex thing to do. It's a complex subject that a junior high school student's not going to understand it. Elementary students definitely not going to understand it. And a high school student is barely going through puberty, and they're not going to understand it. So it's maybe with some maturity in you, you'll understand it when you're in college. But the Republicans know this. Republicans know that there is no such thing as critical race theory in these stages in school, but yet they shove it down your throat. You see a lot of Republicans say, "Oh, socialism are addicted." They don't even know what socialism is. Look up socialism, and you see, like I said earlier, Venezuela is supposed to be a socialist country because of its oil. The money that Venezuela produces from oil is supposed to go to help the people of Venezuela. It's supposed to flourish Venezuela, but it hasn't because Maduro is a schmuck. All right. So a lot of people had to leave Venezuela because of this man. A lot of people had to go to neighboring countries to live there. A lot of people had to ration their food. You go to Venezuela right now, you can only buy a certain amount of food. You get like Cuba, you can only buy a certain amount of bread. You can only buy a certain amount of bar soap. On a this is your country, and yet we don't help those people out. But you embargo Cuba, but you don't embargo Iraq, where there's a hatred towards women. It's a misogynist thing. There's that out there. If a woman takes over a thing, she gets stoned. If a woman, if she gets raped, she gets stoned. I mean, there's a hope that Saudi Arabia is even worse. I mean, the same thing. But yet they praise these countries. They work with these countries. They have contract with these countries because they have oil. We don't get oil from Venezuela, but I guarantee you that if we have gotten oil from Venezuela, they would help Venezuela out. But being that Chavez was there and being that Maduro is there, they're not going to work with those communist people. But if Venezuela became the true socialist country that it's meant to be, I guarantee you that the United States will work with them. Because the United States only works when it's to their benefit, not to your benefit, people, not to you, not to me, but their benefit. Think about it now. The senator for Rick Scott from Florida, he wants to sunset. He wants to sunset Medicaid and Social Security. Do you know what that would do to your Medicaid and to your Social Security? Oh, mamma mia. No. He wants to sunset. And if you don't know what it means, I'm not going to go into it. But it's not good, bro. It's not good. So that means you're never ever going to be able to get your Social Security. You're never ever going to get the full benefits of Medicaid if he sunsets it, or not if he sunsets it. If the Congress does. And when they interviewed him the other day, he was like, "Oh, I didn't mean to say sunset. I mean we could look it up every 4 or 5 years. We can come up with ideas how we could make it better." Because I don't want to leave no one without Medicaid or Social Security. Those were his words. He backtracked his own words when he was on TV. That's what he did. But that's what that's his idea. That's his idea. See, you have to, we let these people think for. Well, I don't. You let these people think for you. Oh my God! And when you let these people think for you, that's no good. Remember, this is no more the Republican Party. This is no more the Democrat Party. This is my party. This has become the party of me. The party of, they no longer, the Republicans are not looking forward to helping you out. What do they care about? Biden's computer. How can one person who's never had any education and electricity get $1 million from China? Is that what you worried about? So then why don't you worry about how did the Donald Trump's kids, how did they make $19 million while his father was being president? Now, mind you, Trump's company is losing money. Trump company's not making money. So for a company to be losing money, how are you making $19.1 million a piece? Not just one sibling, but both. I'm going to get my water. I'm sorry about that. And that's what you are worried about? You're not worried about that Putin had put on some hit on American soldiers? That doesn't worry you? That does not worry you. It doesn't worry you that Google and Microsoft and all these companies have access to your information? That doesn't worry you? That doesn't worry you? It doesn't worry you that here it is, right? This is another funny thing, right? Check this out. People on both parties, people on both sides, they say Democrats are taking away our rights. They want to take our Second Amendment rights. They want to take our freedom of speech right. They want to do this. They want to do that. But yet they don't know that when they get on this phone, right? On this phone, when they get on this phone, what are they doing? When you go on Facebook, right? I'm just going to show you real quick. When you go on Facebook, I'll show you right now. I thought I had to do something, but I don't. When you go on Facebook, look at all the permission. Unless you block them, can't see. Unless you block them, you give people permission to look at your calendar, look at your camera, look at your contact, look at your files and media, They can access your location. They can access your phone. They can access nearby phone. They can access your phone. They can listen to your conversation. And you're giving this to Facebook, WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, Instagram. You're giving them this information, and I say Instagram because Facebook owns that too. You're giving them that information freely, and you're not worried about these people. And you worried about the Democrats? Why do you think Facebook is so rich? Because every time you're on that phone, you with your girlfriend and say, "Hey man, I just bought myself a pair of Calvin Kleins. They look so good." Or I bought myself a Gucci bag. Boom. Facebook sends that information down to Gucci. And Gucci sends them a check. Oh, thank you. So if they get 10,000 people, it's like 10,000 people like Gucci. So we good. They don't even have to add. Gucci doesn't even have to advertise because they're already paying. They're paying, instead of paying people going from house to house or whatever it may be for advertisement, whatever. They already got Facebook, so Facebook is giving them that information. King Geo likes this, King Geo likes that. So they're giving them information about me, and Gucci is paying them for that because you gave them permission to listen to them on the phone. See, and that's the permission that you have given them. And I'm not saying, let me see, all permission. Let me see, read. Look, they could read your contacts. They can modify. Look at that. They can modify your contracts. They can find accounts on your phone. They can modify or delete SD card contents. They can read the contents of your shared storage. It's right here, bro. I'm lying. They can access approximate location only in the foreground, access precise location only in the foreground, access location in the background. They can record audio. They can record audio, guys. You know what's that? Someone is able to record an audio and it's not even you. And then they're going to incriminate you. They say it's you because it came out of your device. They can connect to paired Bluetooth devices. They can direct call phone numbers, that they can directly call phone numbers, read phone numbers, read phone status and identity. Other apps capability, they can pair with Bluetooth. They can access your Bluetooth settings. They can prevent your phone from sleeping. They can control vibration, toggle syncs on and off, view network connection, view Wi-Fi connection. There's a whole bunch of things connecting. They can connect and disconnect from your Wi-Fi. They can run at startup. They can retrieve running apps. They can install shortcuts. So they can do all these things, and you don't even know. But you gave it because you gave permission, and you worried about that the Democrats are going to come after you because of your guns, when that's never going to happen. That your First Amendment rights, your Second Amendment rights is being violated when it's not happening. It's happening in certain cases. You're not worried about police brutality because it doesn't affect you. And these motherfuckers out here, they gave you use your fingerprint already, and these motherfuckers here in Facebook got permission to do all this. What's allowed? Look what's allowed, and I'm not lying to you. Look at your app. This is what is allowed. Look, see the word right there? Oh, can I see it? Because you had the glare, but look. Allowed. All this is allowed. Maybe I can see it that good, but all you do, look, if you have an Android phone, take your phone, press it. That little bar is going to come up, and it's going to say a little exclamation point right here. You press that, and then this comes out. And then that tells you the permission. The only thing that I have open is the notification. But everything else, update from friends, but you're giving them permission to do all that. So just imagine there could be, not that there could be, there is someone right now looking at somebody's account. probably masturbating at someone, looking at someone in the shower, because there are people who like to use their phones to take showers, to listen to music. Why does Facebook need all that information? Because all that information, it's sold. All that information for Facebook is money, right? The age of information is money. Your information is money. And if you don't take care of information, I like when people say, oh, but Democrats are doing this, Republicans are doing that, but there are companies out there who are doing far worse. Far worse. I don't get an Alexa because Alexa records everything that you do, that you say. And bro, you say, oh man, I like the color red. So many times Alexa's you're gonna receive something with the color red. You're like, how the fuck? Or you say, oh man, I like Chanel No. 5. That's my favorite cologne. And you haven't seen Chanel No. 5 in like 5 or 10 years. All of a sudden, you get an item for Chanel No. 5. Like, I didn't order this. Why? Because Alexa is keeping your information and is retrieving it. I don't have no Alexa. I don't have none of that. None of that stuff that records. My daughter gave me one for Christmas like 3 years ago, and it's still there. I don't plug it. It has nothing to do with conspiracy. It's just what I know. And I'm not going to let that happen. So back again with the question. So why aren't we teaching minorities the contributions that blacks and Hispanics have done in the world? Not just the United States, but in the world. But being that we are in the United States, why don't we do it for the United States? So, but we're talking here in the United States. Why don't we do that? So why don't we do that? Why don't we teach our kids what great Hispanics have done, what great blacks have done? Because they don't want to. White community will not let you know that there's been a great contribution in both Hispanics and blacks to this country. A lot of things that you see now, a lot of things that you get now is because of black people. It's because of white, it's because of Hispanic. It's because either they learned and taught or they fought. Okay? That's what we need to be taught. You can't pretend to go to a minority school and just teach white history. What are you going to learn? What is that person going to learn about their own history? Tell me, what are they going to learn about their own history? Nothing. You need to learn about you so you can know who you are. You know who you are as a person, you know what I mean. But what your culture is about, it's not just eating, for me, Puerto Rican, it's not just eating rice and beans. It's not about that. It's about my culture. It's about what do we stand for, what the Taino Indians did in the island. Because Christopher Columbus, he wiped out the Taino Indians. All right, the indigenous, he wiped them all out. The Tainos, the Arawak Indians, every Indian that was in the Caribbean, he wiped them all out. Yet you give him a day of remembrance. That's ridiculous. Give people what they deserve. Thurgood Marshall. I mean, people who did something for their country, that represented that community. Or they give us, but we give you February, it's Black History Month. You need 1 month to teach Black history. You need an entire years to teach history of the Black community, of people of color, of what they have contributed to the United States, what they have contributed. People, you'd be surprised if you open your eyes. You'd be surprised to see what Black people have given to this country, what Hispanic people have given to this country. You'd be surprised, but you won't know that because schools and morons like DeSantis won't let you teach that. I saw a few months ago where they wanted to take the teachings, the words of what Martin Luther King stood for. They wanted to take that out of the schools. So you want to take away from school equality, that people should be the same, that people should be treated the same, that all people, no matter what color your skin is, should be treated the same, that all people are created equal. And we all are created equal because we all were born the same way. We're all, I don't care if your mother and father is rich, but when you're born, you're not rich. You still gotta, your pampers gotta change. You still gotta eat baby food. You still gotta be burnt. You still gotta do this. So we all go through the same thing. Now, once we get older and your parents start teaching you, then they start teaching you their teachings or their beliefs. That's when the we are all created equal separates. Because now your parents might be teaching you the right thing, which is good, and then they might be teaching you what they think, like black and white should not be getting along, or you shouldn't marry a person out of your own race. You shouldn't marry, if you're not Catholic, you should only marry a Catholic. You shouldn't marry a Protestant. You should only marry a Muslim. That's a whole different. Now that thinking of we all are created equal is no longer we all are created equal, because now we get indoctrinated by our parents on their beliefs. My mother never put her beliefs on me. My beliefs are my beliefs, and no one can take my beliefs away from me. My beliefs has nothing to do with religion. My belief in God has nothing to do with religion. My belief in who I vote for has nothing to do with politics. Okay? Because I know that 99.9% of politicians are full of shit. I'm not going to vote. You think I'm going to vote for McConaughey from Texas? I think he's running for Texas. I don't know if he is. Because, you think I'm going to vote for him? What mistake was that? Didn't we vote for an actor before? His name was Ronald Reagan. Okay. I want to vote. I want a president that has come from nothing, that had nothing when he was a child and moved up the ladder slowly, wasn't food stamp, was collecting cans in the streets, had to eat from the streets, went to college, he paid for his own college, or he got a scholarship, or he got a tuition, and he became this, and he boom, and he burst to the top on his own. Not that his father gave him a $60,000 loan or a $100,000 loan. Because remember, from my understanding, I read the other day that Jeff Bezos' parents gave him a $220,000 loan because they thought Amazon was going to go belly up. Okay, that's the president that I want to vote for, man or woman, that knows. It's just like the Katana Brown, the new Supreme Court judge. The one thing that separates, which many things separate her from the other judges, but one of the things that is that she was a public defender. She defended people for free. So she knows, even though she may not come from there, but she knows when she defends a public defender, she's defending someone who has no resources, has no money. And most of those people cry to these public defenders, get me the best deal that you can. Look, I come from my mother. Some of those public defenders, these defenders, they tell the stories to them. They may not relate to them because they come from a different background, but she's heard stories, so she knows the pain. She may not feel it, but here she's heard the pain of these of the people that she has defended. So I have a feeling, and I know that when she puts up her judge and she gives up her opinion, she's not going to give her opinion because it's personal. She's going to go according to the law. She's going to go according to what the Constitution says, to what the law says, because the law is the law. This is not like the Bible, that the Bible you can interpret it your own way. It's not like this. The law is the law. There's only one way to look at the law, for what it's written, for what it is said. And most of the judges, when they give decisions, they give their opinion. And like Social Security, like SSI, when the Supreme Court struck down Puerto Rico's chances of getting struck down the chances of people in Puerto Rico receiving SSI. Out of 9 judges, 8 said no. Why would you neglect Puerto Rico for giving them SSI because something about federal taxes? Puerto Rico does pay federal taxes. When there's a war, who do you guys depend on? You guys depend on Puerto Rico. When the National Guards go active, doesn't the National Guards in Puerto Rico, they need them, they go active too? So that means they go and fight. There's some people that might say, yeah, but they're citizens, so that should be good enough. We're giving you citizenship. Yeah, but you may be giving us citizenship, but you're not giving us the equality. I don't care. I don't care about the SSI. My main concern is the equality that the American government is not giving Puerto Rico. Okay? Medicaid here is not the same in Puerto Rico. It's totally different. You get paid different. Your Social Security check here, but you get paid here, you get paid different in Puerto Rico. Way different. Even if you worked in the States for 20, 30 years. When you retire, your Social Security check in Puerto Rico is way lower than what it is in the States. Why? Because we don't have that equality. We don't have equality. We don't even have equity. And then we have politicians in Puerto Rico who are corrupt. Because the politicians in Puerto Rico are trying to gain the trust of the Democrats. And that's not the way to do it. If Puerto Rico really wanted to become a state, you know what you would do? Try to convince the Republican. It was an insult when Donald Trump went to Puerto Rico and he did what he did. It was an insult that he negated money to Puerto Rico because he said that Puerto Rico was poor. And Puerto Rico was, he said that Puerto Rico is one of the worst corrupt countries in the world. There's worse countries that are more corrupt than Puerto Rico. But yeah, Puerto Rico is corrupt. I'm the one to admit it. But because of that, a lot of people still don't have their homes built. A lot of places in Puerto Rico don't have adequate water or adequate electricity. The government that came in now sold the electric company, which the electric company should have been sold a long time ago, but sold the electric company to a company by the name of Luma, who has whatever experience it has, but has no experience in Puerto Rico. Gave them a multi-million-dollar contract. And just the other day, there was a big-ass blackout for 2 days. And it's always been blackouts in Puerto Rico, but this was massive. All right? They give you these contracts away, and then the governor of Puerto Rico saying that the debt that we have of $72 billion or more, that he's going to pay for it. Now he's going to pay for it too. So you know how they're paying for it? They took away the public people, police officers, fire department, teachers, anyone who worked with the public. They took away their pension. They took away their pension, bro. Imagine that you worked so freaking hard, and you're like, I'm gonna work 20 to 30 years. And those people that have been working for 30 years and they're about to retire, they cannot retire because they got no pensions now. Because the government decided to take that away to pay the debt, to pay bondholders, to pay them. And then people in Puerto Rico like, all these bondholders are greedy, these bondholders is this, the American people. No, bondholders did what bondholders do. They make money. So when these these shareholders took stocks of Puerto Rico, took Puerto Rico stock, those stocks by law, by Puerto Rico, by the Constitution of Puerto Rico, they are protected by the Constitution of Puerto Rico. And you get paid before any government entity does. So if you're guaranteeing me that I'm going to get my money first, and then no matter what happens, I'm not going to lose my stock, it's guaranteed. Of course, you're going to make money. Of course, you're going to invest that. It's guaranteed by the government. is guaranteed by your constitution, yes, I'm going to jump on that. And if in 20 years I die and I don't get that money, my kids will get that money. Somewhere, somehow, my kids or someone in my family is going to make that, it's going to get that money because it's guaranteed. So don't blame them. Blame Puerto Rico for making that stupid law. Now you got to learn Puerto Rico that if you're a businessman and you go to Puerto Rico, you live there for 10 years, your business is tax-free. You don't have to pay federal taxes, right? You don't pay taxes. And then you can leave after 10 months, you can leave. And all you got to do is come back once a year and stay there for a few hours. And then you come back to the States. But those privileges are not given to the people of Puerto Rico. Just the other day, they were asking, where's the money? They were giving the Board of Education was giving $230 million a few years ago. And now, a few weeks ago, they're asking, where is that money? Where's the money? When the then governor in 2012, Alejandro Padilla, when he opened the books of Puerto Rico, he was the first governor that said that we were in debt. He said, where's the tax money? Because in 2004, Puerto Rico passed a law of sales tax of 7%. So from 2004 to 2014, when he, or 2012, or after 2012, when he became governor, that he asked for the books to be open, he opened the books. The sales tax money was gone. No one knew where that sales tax money is. And to this day, not one governor, not one senator has had the audacity to say, we need to get audited. I want these books to be open, and I want them open now. I want Puerto Rico audited, and I want to be done now. I want to see where all this money has gone to. And why they don't do that? Because they themselves, or friends of them, will be in that book. They're going to say, you gave a $30 million contract to this person. You gave $20 million to this person. You gave $5 million to this person. People that you know, people that are your family members, you pocketed this money. That's why they don't want to, Puerto Rico does not want to audit itself because it's going to open a can of worms. I don't even know why the United States federal government doesn't audit Puerto Rico. I guess it's against the law against it. I'm not sure. But Puerto Rico should get audited. And you will see all the corruption. If you did that, you would see politicians in Puerto Rico viewed in a different way. They'll walk a straight line. They won't do nothing. But they don't do it because they're friends of friends and they know that they can get away with it. And here in the United States, they make so much money because the lobbyists pay their campaign. Lobbyists do this, lobbyists do that. And that's the way it is. So I try to do a lot of Q&A. No one did Q&A with me, so I did my own Q&A. Hopefully you like my show today. I'm still thinking of doing an early morning King Geo show. I'm still thinking about that, but I'm definitely going to do a weekend show because I'm off Friday and Saturday for the next 6 weeks. After this Friday, it'll be 6 weeks. So, guys, thank you for watching my channel. If you have not done so, please subscribe to my channel. It gives me back monetized when I need to get monetized, bro. I'm broke. Look what I got. I got no coffee. I got a cup. Look, it says King Geo. It says King Geo, by the way. See? King Geo. That's about it, but look. No coffee. I'm empty. Dang. So I try to make this channel as fun as I can. I try to find my niche. I've tried asking you guys what is it you want. It's a lot of things, but I don't know what to do. I burned out. But anyway, even being burned out, that doesn't mean that I want to stop doing my channels. I will report what I can when I can. I will do my best to keep you entertained because that's what YouTube should be. It's about entertainment. All right, guys. So thank you for watching the King Geo Show. Thank you, Gatais, for coming in. And thank you, my guy, for coming in too. God bless each and every one of you. Peace.